Yes.
So you probably saw it in your homework, and today I will do one of your homework. Let me see which one I chose. I chose Nick Ariola. Are you here? Yeah, I will show your homework. I just randomly chose a person. Yeah. So yeah, I will show you the answer of your homework problem. So you probably saw this. This is 13.2, number 4, for example. And then you kind of probably got confused. What is this? Like, what is this kind of notation? Yeah. It's actually very known around the world as the notation for the line integral p dx plus q dy. This notation represents parameterization, which we need to perform. You guys, paying attention, thank you. Where f is made with p and q. I'll give you the example right now to see what is happening, but it's one of the ways to calculate line integrals, which we today gonna finally justify why it's so impressive to use line integrals. It's not only the curtain or the fence below the given curve. No, it's actually much more than that. And today we're gonna do more cool stuff. But first, look at this. How interesting that we have dx and dy in the same integral. We never had this before, and this kind of contradicts the notation of the integral we teach. But it's multivariable calculus, and that's why it has justification. Very interesting idea. Suppose you have a flashlight in the y direction that you cast a light on the fence. Then what kind of shadow do you see? That's a genius idea of explaining why it has both dx and dy in the same integral. First, it will have dx. If you're making a shadow towards, you don't have to write this down. I will give you a note. Oh, let me think. Ike, your job is to remind me to think.
What? That's the first time I've heard it.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of too late. That's true. But now you should. When you cast it to x-axis, you have this type of shadow. But when you cast it into y-axis, you'll have different type of shadow. Something like this. See, completely different. Like this. So it's a pretty cool idea that shadow does not represent all the curve. And that's why combining two helps. And that's why line integral, which calculates the fence above this curly shape in 3D, matters so much. Because if we want to put it in 2D, it does not work at all. This is not at all what we want to find. Not even close, to be honest. It's just a shadow of it. So it's a very interesting idea. Stop thinking. Good. That if you calculate the area of the shadow on the left, we know how to do that from area below the graph ideas. With the chain rule, it gives you this integral. It gives you, that's what we just learned before. Originally, it was integral of below f dx. When we perform parameterization, x prime shows up dt, and now everything is in terms of t. T is from a to b. We just learned this formula before. You have it in your homework. So the first integral was built as a shadow on the x-axis. Shadow on the y-axis will be almost the same thing, but with y prime dt. And that's how this formula shows up. It's kind of representation of two shadows add up together and collecting all the changes. Shadow on the x-axis, shadow on the y-axis, together collecting these two. It's kind of the intuitive explanation. I would say the more I think about it, the more genius it feels. The idea of having 3D object shadowed into two planes, and now imagine third plane, fourth plane if you have more dimensions, collecting them together, collecting different small changes. Remember, dx and dy are small changes in x and small changes in y. Then, since this integral looks ridiculous, you use parameterization, write it down in terms of t, dr in terms of t, and now it doesn't look ridiculous anymore, and that's what line integral is about. Anyway, I will show you homework example, and it might click, maybe. We'll see. So it is example 13.2, number 4. They say, let C be a curve which is the union of two line segments. C is line segments. We just started. Why are you already yawning?
I woke up late.
Line segments. From. First we have from 0, 0, 2. 2, 3. And the second one is from 2, 3, 2, 4, 0. That's a very applicational problem because you will be working as an engineer, especially civil engineers. you'll be walking with a ruler, like literally measuring things on the floor to build things. So here are your points. Here are your points from and to. And then they give you the integral. Calculate the integral, find C2 dy minus 3 dx. And this is the first time you see this ridiculous notation, which is internationally known. So it is a pretty cool idea, collecting changes in y and changes in x. So, solution. Always sketch the picture. Picture helps you a lot. Without the picture, you use formulas without picture. It's actually not very smart. In general, we expect you to be good at visualizing things. Especially engineers, to be honest. You guys supposed, and physicists, you're supposed to visualize things. Computer scientists, you're fine. You just code stuff. You can code your picture if you want. So, C1 is... let's see. So a segment, let's call it C1 and C2, right? C1 is from 0, 0 to 2 and 3. Let's try to put it on the x-axis and y-axis. 0, 0. It's two-dimensional. It's not that hard. 2 and 3. Here it is. Here's a segment C1. You need to learn how to parameterize it. There are many ways to parameterize the line. Check my review on parameterization. It's posted in the notes. For example, you can describe it as the equation of the line as x equals 2t, not 2y anymore. As x equals 2t. Then you check, can we do y equals t? That's a question mark. It doesn't work because 2.3 is involved, so it doesn't match the slope. So you fix it and it makes it happen 3t. So these things, I'm doing it fast, but actually you're supposed to struggle with this. It's a creative process of parameterization. You're describing a picture using parameter t. But usually the idea is you build a line from 0, 0 to 3, and then you fix the second variable when it doesn't match. Yes?
Can't you just look at the function and make or do the parameterization based on that? Or
Yeah, sometimes you can just do that. That's the thing, the more you do it, the faster it gets. Yeah, sometimes you can just look at it. Order is important. We're going from here to here. So you have to check. When t is 0, we better be at 0 matches. 0, 0. When t is at the last point, which is, what is the last point for t? What do you think? 2, 3, 0, 1? 1. Let's check. At 1, it should be 2, 3. I'm plugging 1, it gives me 2, 3. So that's how you know that t is running not from infinity minus infinity to infinity. It is from 0 to 1. Again, many ways to parameterize it. You just need to figure out. When we have this, we need to find dx and dy. Here they are. Literally, those are differentials. Let me put it in the blue color. Then dx is derivative of 2t with respect to 2, with respect to t, which is 2. dy is derivative of 3t with respect to t, which is 3. So we can start building this first integral. The first integral over c1 of 2 dy minus 3 dx. This part was given, as you can see. This was given. Equals, and now we know that it's going to be in terms of t, so it will be dt at the end, no dx, no dy. T is running from 0 to 1. We made it to be like this. 2 is multiplied by derivative in, let me put it green, derivative dy first. Dy goes first, so it's 3 minus 3 is multiplied by dx, but dx is 2. So again, this is dx and this is dy. And then the integral becomes super simple, so that's kind of the goal. It helps us to create very, very simple integrals. What kind of integral is that? Can someone calculate? 0. It's the integral of 0. 0 times 1 is 0. So that is the idea. We described it so nicely, and then plugged in. The formula looks awkward. This formula does look very awkward, to be honest. But the thing is, it was created to help you to figure out all those fancies and volumes easier. Line integrals are amazing. Let's do the second one. It's only C1. C2 in green. So then we changed the way we walk. We were walking from 0 to 2, 3. And from 2, 3, we start walking to 2, 2, 3, 2, 4, and 0. Okay, so we're continuing the path. I can actually just continue from here. 2, 3, 2, 4, 0. So where is my 4, 0? It's gonna be over here. 4, 0. So now we're going here. There's a direction. Don't forget, that's important. 4, 0, and that is C2. This one was C1. Then we combine those two. How to describe C2? Same idea. So we are going to parameterize it, and you can try different ways. You try something like x equals 2t, and it doesn't work because there's a shift by 2 units to the right. Look at this shift. There's a shift here by 2 units to the right. We know how to perform the shift. We're teaching you this in pre-calculus class. So I will add 2. Now maybe y is t. Usually that's how you start. And you check if it matches. No, it doesn't match. Also the slope should be negative. To make it negative and make it happen with from 3, you do minus 3t. Then you see there's a shift again on y. Y shift happened to 3 units up. So to shift it up by 3 units, you add 3. And again, we teach it, we taught it before, so that's why I don't stop it for too long. Check my videos, maybe it will help. But to be honest, it is satisfyingly makes sense. Like if you dig into parameterization, it makes sense that we can describe mathematically all kind of curves and lines. You just need to think about it harder and don't be afraid to mess up. Parameterization is about messing up again and again and again, and the fourth time it works. So it kind of teaches you to fail but be fine about it. T is running from what to what, and make sure that your direction is correct. Now from what?
1 to 2.
From 1 to 2, let's check. When t is 1, the first point will be 4 and 0. But I thought we need to end up at 4, 0. Right? So I think 1 should be at the end. Right? When we end up at 1, it will be 4 and 0. Then how to start at 2, 3?
0.
Oops, at 0. So that's how you do. Like you kind of guess one more time, and then you fix it. Yeah, like so. That gives you 0, 0. So direction matters. But if we go backwards, and he was right, it would be from 1 to 0, which is also okay. Build the integral. Which color I'm using? Blue. Blue color for the second C2 integral, which is the same inside part. That is the given information. But now it's going to be from 0 to 1 dt. And then we have 2 given and minus 3 given. But then we need to find, where was my then? Yeah. Then we need to find derivatives dx and dy, and we plug it into the integral. Dx with respect to t is 2, dy with respect to t is minus 3. So this time it's going to be minus 3 goes first, dy, and then 2 goes here, dx. I will have a pause right now, don't be afraid to ask if you're catching up. And this integral gives you negative 12. So in your answer I saw 12, just change it to negative 12. Almost correct. Negative 12. So answer, final answer, integral over c 2 dy minus 3 dx will be answer of those two, 0 plus minus 12, which is minus 12, because we need to complete the whole walk. Again, imagine there's a curtain above this walk. There's a curtain in 3D, which we only need to consider above this line. So it's kind of like a building going up, or 2 walls going up. And we just found how big those walls are. What do you think? It's the process is not hard. Getting used to it is complicated. But actually, we always put this question on the exam, and people do really well usually, unless they freak out. Yes.
Can you scroll so I can see? I didn't write down the area of the x-axis shadow part.
Oh, the shadow?
Yeah, that part. No, the equation itself.
Oh.
Thank you.
Here is. What do you think about this?
Weird.
It is weird, especially the notation is weird. But that's when it kind of forces you to be open-minded. What? Integral have dx and dy at the same time? Well, dx means all these approximations of the shadow on the x-axis. Dx are small changes, if you remember. It's basically delta x. Then dy are delta y's, which are approximations on this side. And that's why we're kind of collecting them all at the same time, because it's an object in 3D after all. This is what we were teaching in Calculus 1. Actually, I will be teaching it today in my Calculus 1 class, the area below the graph. Geometric interpretation, if you remember. So now in 3D, we're seeing that it's more complicated than that. Collecting all the areas with respect to different types of shadows is complicated. Called line integrals. So now you have some homework done, which is good. Let me know if you're behind of the homework, but before the exam, it would be nice not to get behind. Yes.
So I don't really understand the shift. So when you
The shift?
So I would understand if it was -3.
Let's see, -3,
But not.
because it's going down. I kind of see it this way. But usually you can find the slope by having this formula. M is second y minus first y, second x minus first x. So choose any you want. For example, for C2, it's going to be 0 minus 3 over 4 minus 2. Even though I can see from the graph it's going down, so slope should be negative. Math will show you that anyways. It's going to be -3 over 2. So that's how I know that slope will be negative. -3 halves can go to the equation if you want. But then you will have to fix some of these. But now you see, y over x is indeed 3t over 2t, right?
It's the next one. You're looking at C2.
Oh, yeah. This one. Yeah, exactly. -3 over 2. So that's how it matches. Slope is dy over dx, if you remember. dx. So yeah, it's exactly these guys. So that's how you figure out this first. And then shift comes from the picture. Understanding that we did shift to the right by 2 units and up by 3 units. That makes sense? Kind of ideas.
It's going the opposite way.
Yeah.
Okay.
You always go the opposite. To the right you add, to the left you subtract, and up and down the same thing. Yeah. Good job. So this is all for this example.